Guys, there's never an easy way to say this. I'm pregnant. Yes, this mock draft fucked me. Anyways, I haven't even read this mock draft, so before you guys start saying, oh, he's pregnant and this mock draft's really bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I haven't even read this yet. So we're going to be looking at Prisco's 2026 NFL mock draft 1.0. 4 of the top 5 picks on defensive side, Browns select a quarterback. A little bit of a spoiler, but I like not being edged. This is by Pete Prisco. Shout out my boy there. Sonny Salsa right here. Awesome. The Raiders take Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. This makes 100%. Yeah, all the mock drafters will get this one right. He 100%. Like there's not much variation here. There really isn't. And I think the thing with Mendoza, right, is that he's just, I don't know. It just makes sense for this team. It really just does. You need a quarterback. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this pick. I usually say I don't, and that's gonna be what I'm gonna do. Fernando Mendoza is the easiest pick. It's literally the most surefire pick. It makes the most sense for this team. They need it. They really do. And taking Mendoza here is not a bad idea per se. So if you take Mendoza here, you get your surefire quarterback of the future. Might not have the highest ceiling in the world, but might not have the lowest floor in the world. So why don't you just take your guy here when you can? He was by far the best quarterback in college football here, so it makes the most sense for this team. The Jets take Arvin Reese, edge out of Ohio State, edge/linebacker. So interesting area to talk about. I think Arvin Reese is probably one of the best edges in this class. Not pure edge, but just like potential to be a pure edge. Runs a 3-4 system. Played 51 of his 51 out of 100% of his snaps off ball. Plays the other 49% on ball /edge. So that's interesting. That's gonna be it's gonna be a real chess piece for Aaron Glenn. And I know Aaron Glenn might already be on the hot seat, which is just really crazy. It's wild, but Aaron Glenn might already be on the hot seat. So there's interesting areas to bring up. But I think this team could use Arvin Reese. They need an edge. They haven't paid a lot of guys in free agency for edge money. They paid a lot of depth guys, but that's depth guys. You're not going to pay your number one guy. So they're kind of making room for Arvin Reese. So it makes a lot of sense for this team. It really just does. Like there's no other way to put it around. Like it just does. So we're going to take Arvin Reese here. Like it a lot. It makes the most sense for me and this entire fan base. The Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey goes to the Cardinals. Interesting area to talk about here. 19th is my prospect rank. That's around where I have him too. He's very, very interesting as a prospect because he's not the best 3-down lineman in this world. He did have some outside linebacker experience. I don't know what scheme the Cardinals run. Let me just do a quick fact check. They also run a 3-4. They run a 3-4, and he can't fit in. He has had that outside linebacker experience at Stanford. He didn't really run that in Texas Tech because I think they ran a 4-3 there. So interesting area because next to Romello Hyde, David Bailey, and they had the 2 guys in Lee Hunter, and there was one other person who's there. I'm forgetting his name. He's gonna be like a day 3, or maybe late day 2, early day 3 type guy. But David Bailey is not a bad pick regardless. I think this makes a lot of sense for this team. Skylar Gill-Howard. There we go. That's their front. So they played a 4-3 defense, and then they obviously had Jacob Rodriguez in the back and Jacob Rodriguez and friends in the back. So David Bailey isn't a bad pick here regardless. I think they need an edge here. Even if Josh Sweat doesn't request a trade, I think David Bailey's going to play. No pick is guaranteed in the draft. Even if I would go Francis Pino, who has strong. I watched his tape today. I fucking love his tape. I don't think he's the best tackle prospect I've seen ever, right? I don't think he has number 3 overall talent, but teams might reach on a tackle, and David Bailey, you can also see teams reach on an edge. They're both pretty highly regarded positions, so regardless, you're going to get your guy in the trenches. So David Bailey isn't a bad pick. You can get to the quarterback. A little concerning with his bend, but and even his strength too. Sometimes his strength is very marginal at times. He has good flashes, but it's not consistently enough to the point where I feel comfortable just calling him a top 3 and a great edge impactor a player right now. That's my only issue. Other than that, getting to the quarterback is amazing. First step's amazing. Some of his moves and his swim moves and just getting just swim. His chops are all really high level. For that, it makes a lot of sense to try and bank on that. Just swallowed my spit. All right, 3 edges go in the first round. He kind of just hinted at that, but Ruben Bain goes to the Titans. I'm assuming the next pick's gonna be Sonny Styles, so that's probably gonna be the other guy taken, or Downs, one of the 2. But Ruben Bain goes here. They have first in the position rank, second in the prospect rank. That's honestly, I can think of that too. I think Ruben Bain is probably my edge number 1 because I think I view Arvin Reese as a linebacker, but Ruben Bain is not a bad pick for this team. They need an edge here. He does have small arms, 30.5-inch arms, which is a issue. Teams do like to look at that, but I think that you have to look at the production and be like, okay, yo, this production isn't that bad, so let's take a chance on that, yo. And they're gonna do that, and I think that makes a lot of sense for this team. And you could really bank on the upside. It makes so much more sense for this team to take him. He's so violent. He doesn't give up on a play. That when I was watching his film, I watched his film today too. I watched the Miami guys, Nick Scott, Ruben Bain, Marina, Messidor. When I watched those guys, the defensive guys, and obviously Bain, with Bain, I always felt the presence that even when he was completely out of the play, he always found a way to get into the general area because he didn't give up on the play. Like even if he's on the right side and they throw and the other opposing team throws to the left side and the other opposing team takes it up for a 10-yard gain. Ruben Bain is always within that 5-yard vicinity because that just proves the type of player he is. He doesn't give up on plays, and that's what I want in a football player. Some guy who doesn't give up on plays and who gives his effort all the time. And regardless, even with the effort concerns, there's also just a lot more to like about him. He is very explosive. He has really good hand placement ability. He has great chops. It's awesome, and he's pretty fast. He's really fast for his size, and I think this makes a lot of sense for this team because he was really good. And I think people need to start giving him more credit regardless of the arm length. So arm length is a big concern. I'm not gonna downplay that whatsoever. That's a big concern. Teams and organizations take that into account, especially scouts and general managers. But I think if you take Ruben Bain here, you can bank on the upside and see the production in college, and it's not a bad idea to talk about. Giants take Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. He's probably the best fit for this team. I think Sonny Styles could fit amazingly next to Tremaine Edmonds, and even a rotational guy to Michael McFadden would be a good 1-2 punch. And this linebacking core was very, very weak. They had Darius Muasau, Flanagan Fowles. They had like all these random practice squad guys. I think Musa was more of they took him in the sixth round last or 2 years ago. I think it was the year with Malik Neighbors. They took Musa, who I think was more of a depth guy when they took him, but he ended up playing real minutes because McFadden got hurt and Bobby Okereke was by himself. So that's the whole reason this team needed a linebacker. And I know that John Harbaugh loves his linebackers. Sonny Styles has amazing upside as a run stopper and pass cover. He has safety background. It'll be awesome for this team to be a good fit. It makes a lot of sense in the regard that, hey, you have Sonny Styles here, why not you take him? It's a solid argument, and it makes a lot of sense for this team. The Browns take Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I have a cat in my face, so I don't know what I'm gonna do here, but Carnell Tate goes here. I think Carnell Tate would be a solid pick for this team. Keep him in state. It'll make sense for this team too because they need a wide receiver. It's the debate if you want to take Monroe Feeling here to kind of opposingly reach. I think there's a little bit of a reach for Monroe Feeling, but you do need a left tackle. Ty Sauer plays right tackle, so you do need a left tackle area. But this team could honestly use another wide receiver here too because they don't have that, and Tom Monken likes it. I wouldn't hate this pick at all for them. It makes sense for this team, and definitely opposite tackles in play, but it's not a bad idea to take him. And he's like I said, I've rewatched his tape a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and his tape was solid. It really was solid, and that's the whole point. Like he's my wide receiver one now. He has him ranked second in his position rank. I can definitely see that too. I had him ranked second before I watched his tape again, but as a good compliment to Jeremiah Smith, he was awesome. I don't think he'll be the number one like receiver. I don't think he'll ever be like JSN. I don't think he'll ever be like Puka Nacua where he's ripping it up all the time. I think he'll be awesome regardless. Even if you take him, he'll be a consistent 1,000-yard receiver in my opinion. You kind of be like Mike Evans, right? Mike Evans was a good number one. He can't be number one, but you can also be number two if you need him to. I know Mike Evans was awesome. He's a Hall of Famer. But I think Carnell Tate can have a similar trajectory. It really does. And I think he can be a consistent 1,000-yard receiver, especially on a team like the Browns who are wide receiver need. So he definitely can have a pop-off year in Cleveland. So I don't hate this pick at all. The Commanders take Jeremiah Love. This team does not have a real running back one. I think people are like kind of concerned with that. I know Jacoby Crossing-Mayer, but I don't think this team is tied to Jacoby Crossing-Mayer in the long run. Not because contractually, just ethically and morally, how they've been treating him. They haven't really been getting a lot of running backs, especially with Eckler coming off that injury. Jacoby Crossing-Mayer had to take that bell cow role, and he did fine. But I think this team could definitely use a running back. I think Jeremiah Love will be awesome for this team. Good one-cut ability, great in the passing game. It will really elevate this offense next to Jane Daniels, who did come off of an injury-riddled year this year. So it's good assurance for Jane Daniels, and I think Jeremiah Love is a top 3 player in this class. So if you take a top 3 player in the class, just only falling because of his positional ranking is not a bad idea. The Saints to Caleb Downs. I don't hate this pick at all either. He can definitely fit in that Brandon Staley's type scheme. You can use that hybrid player. You kind of use him like Derwin James. It's really good. I think Brandon Staley can again utilize him like Derwin James, and you saw how good Derwin James was under that Brandon Staley type scheme. It'll make sense for this team to eventually develop into Caleb Downs into a guy who can already be. I think going into league, he's already. This might sound crazy. This might sound glazed. I don't know how his Caleb Downs dictates, but I think he already has like not all pro, but I think he already has a Pro Bowl type level of play. I think he'll be immediately into contention of the Rookie of the Year. It's just he doesn't have crazy amount of upside as some of these other guys in this draft class. So that's a real issue. That's like a real talking point, and that's a considerable and a warranted talking point of, hey, how much better can this guy get? Because he's already so good. Like, how much better can he get? But at the same time, right, you can just use him and play him as he already a above average safety when he's immediately accepted into the league. It's awesome. He's great at tackling. This team is tackling help. Edge is 100% play, but the edge rushers board is not good. So if you take Caleb Downs here, makes a lot of sense. Cheese Code Francis might know offensive tackle. This makes sense too. This team does. They have a right tackle too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be tied to Jalen Moore in a long-term scheme, anyways. Even if they don't take Maui, so it's not a bad idea to start off on the guard/tackle area. It's not a bad idea. This team could use it. He has a 4th ranked in his prospect ranking. That's interesting. That really is just interesting. I don't know. I have him ranked first. My entire offensive linemen. He's just so strong. His film was amazing when I watched him. It's a real solid player. It really is, and I think teams will have a good time watching and eventually like seeing if they want to pick him, because he's so strong. He isn't the fastest. He doesn't get to the second level the quickest I've ever seen. He gets there, but it's literally the strength. He is so good in the pass pro. He just sometimes just like mauls people. Like, he just throws them to the side, and it kind of looks effortless. And that's something I like for an offensive lineman, to make it kind of look effortless to just throw away some of these edge rushers. It's a real skill, and I like it a lot. The Bengals take Jamad McCoy, corner out of Tennessee. With the torn ACL, that's an interesting area. He has him ranked as a first position rank, so this kind of makes sense why he's going there. I mean, like I said, people, most notably Bengal, brought this up to my attention when I was watching his mock draft. He said Derek Stingley had injury history, and then eventually went top 3 and had a great first year. It's kind of eerily similar to Jamal McCoy, so I can definitely see Jamal McCoy going here. This makes a lot of sense for this team. I like it a lot. I think Jamal McCoy can make sense. I think Delane might fit a little bit better. You can play that nickel or that number 1 corner role. I watched Delane's tape too as well today. I'm gonna get to Jamal McCoy again. I'm gonna reevaluate all these guys. I'm gonna watch them in a hot minute, so it's just rewatching all of them. But if you take Jamal McCoy, it's not a bad idea too. It makes a lot of sense for this team. It's not a bad pick for this team. This team needs the secondary after losing Cam Taylor-Britt. Not a bad option. Thomas take Mansour. This is 100% the right pick too. I think if Mansour is available, you take him here. I think Jeff Haffey can get his number 1 corner. And the thing with Mansour, right, he's not the biggest. He's a little short, but like his tape is just so solid. It really is. It's just awesome to watch. He's just he jumps the ball really well. His hand placement is elite. I saw a clip. Obviously, this is the South Carolina. It's the 4th and 4. Sellers looks. He throws to number 4 on South Carolina. I don't know. I watched a lot of South Carolina this year, but he presses him. South Carolina, like the receiver gets open. He's on the sideline. He tries to grab it. Delane immediately slaps it and gets it out of his hand. His pass breakups and his hand placement is so amazing too. I've seen that eerily similar with Ayon Terrell too. I like both of those guys' game. So if you take Mansour Delane here, you get your number 1 lockdown corner for the future, even though he's a little undersized. But I think Jeff Harvey can kind of use him like Jair Alexander, which is a Packer adjacent guy. So not a bad idea to take him. Whoa, what the fuck? This is a real curveball. R. Mason Thomas, defensive lineman out of Oklahoma. Okay, this, I'm not even gonna lie. When I said this mock draft fucked me, I didn't even see this pick. I just literally did this, and I saw Malachi Lawrence, and I like Malachi Lawrence. I don't know if he'll go 22 overall though. And I've seen Key Isidore go here. That was my biggest thing. R. Mason Thomas at number 12 overall. You've got to be shitting me. What are we talking about? This makes no sense. They schematically go for this, but I don't think Armis Thomas was getting first round buzz. He was getting late first round buzz. He was getting latest. I think the earliest I saw him going was 25. That's crazy that he's going here, especially with how bad he tested on the combine. It makes no sense. I would rather trade back than them reaching at pick number 12 for Armis and Thomas. This makes zero sense. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be dead honest. This makes no sense, and I didn't even see this. I just scrolled down to the last. I saw the first 2 picks. Scroll down to the last 3. What are we talking about? Literally, what are we talking about? Armis and Thomas. is in no world to be taken here. There's no option. There's literally no option. He isn't a 3-down lineman. This team needs a 3-down lineman, in my opinion. And he didn't test on the combine. He ran slow for his combine speed, which was his whole selling point, that he was a fast go-getter. I know the combine isn't end-all be-all, but at the same time, right, like, you have to test pretty well in the combine. You tested below average. It's not like you tested average for his speed. You tested below average. That's not good. That's really not good. So I don't like this. The Rams take Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. It makes sense too. He doesn't need to be the number one guy there with Puka Nacua. Even Devontae Adams, he plays the slot role. Good contrast to those two guys. Not the most explosive guy in the world, but he just has so great catch point. Decent enough separation. A solid pick, and he won the Blitnikoff. So you can maybe ride that high. I think it'll be awesome for this team. There's character concerns, but it wasn't a real issue at USC. I don't think it'll be a real issue here. Like it a lot for this team. The Ravens takes Vega Ione out of Penn State. Vega Ione, I also watched some of his film. I think maybe yesterday. It was amazing. He has real strength. He has awesome strength. He can put your ass on the ground. He's not the fastest. He's not the most laterally quick, but he can be there. He can be there when you need him to. But again, he's just super strong. He's really good downhill with the strength. It's awesome. It's really awesome. It's like a mean streak type player. It makes a lot of sense for his team. I think they usually like to go towards this Spencer Fonda role with that swing tackle. We've seen with Jason Voorhees. But I don't know. I think taking Vega here is not a bad pick per se at all. I think I like Vega at all too. Vega Ione too. He has a really high floor in the NFL. He's awesome. Only allowed 15 pressures. The Bucs take Keldrick Folk. I don't think this makes any sense for them either. I mean, I can maybe see it happening, but I don't think it makes sense just in general because Todd Bowles is on the hot seat, so I don't think he'll take a developmental project in this area. Folk seems like the type of player general manager John Lynch likes to draft. His best football is in front of him. Yeah, but at the same time, right, do you want your head coach to be fired? And then eventually, if you shit the bed this season, right, and you take a developmental project and your head's being called for and Todd Bowles' head's being called for, I don't think they have the time for them to be a developmental project. It doesn't make sense. This regime is under a lot of stress, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if it fits schematically, this team might go for a desperation mode, and that makes a lot more sense, especially in a weaker division. If you don't perform in this weak division, you are fried, and your job's gone. And that's going to be really shitty, especially if you go like 3-4 team. Even if it's a generational draft class, say like, oh wait, give us one more year. We have Jeremiah Smith on the board. That makes no sense. It really doesn't. You're going to get fired regardless, and you're going to start fresh with Jeremiah Smith. Your ass is going to be shipped to Taiwan, learn Chinese, buddy. It's not going to happen, right? You're not going to happen if that shit happens. So it makes no sense for them to go Keldrick Folk here. The Jets go Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of ASU. Makes a lot of sense to Jordan Tyson. Just the only problem is his injury concern, but if you just mitigate that, he'll be awesome. He has crazy good acrobatic skills. It's a real solid prospect. It really is, and it makes a lot of sense for this team. I really like it. It again, just schematically, it fits really well. This team needs a wide receiver one outside of Garrett Wilson, so basically a wide receiver two. Adonai Mitchell isn't a bad pick. There's a lot of moving parts for this team. He can play in the slot, he can play in the X, he can play in the Z. He can play a lot. He really can, and I think he'll be solid for this team. And I think a good contrast to Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell. Not a bad idea for this quarterback in Geno Smith. So not a bad idea. The Lions go Spencer Fonda, offensive tackle out of Utah. Like it too. I think offensive tackle is a big need for this team. They need a left tackle. He didn't play left tackle in college. He played right tackle. So maybe Ken Proctor, Caleb Williams in play, but I think the value is too good to pass up on. And he did test a little bit better in his arm length department, which I brought up recently. So I'm not a gigantic hater of this. I think this would be an awesome pick for him. A real strong guy. We can really get to the second level if you need him to. I don't think any of these offensive linemen that I've in this draft class are obscenely fast, but Spencer Fonda is really, really good. Getting downhill, but he's also really strong. I think that's my main selling point for him. He's really strong. So if you take Spencer Fonda here, it's not a bad idea whatsoever. And then Warren, safety out of Toledo, goes to the Vikings. This team needs a safety. He kind of fits that Harrison Smith role where he gets there. I also watched Dylan Thiemann yesterday. I watched Emmanuel Warren yesterday. I still like Dylan Thiemann a little bit more because mainly I feel like he has a little more turnover prone ability, and I feel like his tackles are a little bit more impactful. Emmanuel Warren is a great athlete, but he's not as good of an athlete as Dylan Thiemann, in my opinion. Obviously not Caleb Downs. So I think I like Dylan Thiemann a little bit more here. This fits the mold a little bit better, and not because he's a white safety guy. So don't be racist, but it makes a little more sense for me. I think that fits the role a bit better. You can play a hybrid safety, but again, Emmanuel Warren isn't a bad pick at all either, and the safety drop off is pretty bad. So if you take Emmanuel Warren, Dylan Thiemann, or Caleb Downs here, it's not a bad idea. I don't think Caleb Downs is falling here, but somehow if he does, that's not a bad idea. The Panthers take Kenyon City, tight end out of Oregon. Not a bad idea. It really isn't. He's the best tight end in this class easily. There's no doubt about that. He ran so well at the combine, 4.39. It'd be a good contrast to Bryce Young, who has more weapons. He has Tenere McMillan, Jalen Coker, Leggett to an extent. It's not a bad idea to eventually invest into that tight end position with the really non-competitive tight end room. I don't think that's a bad idea to take him here. It makes a lot of sense for this team. I think Dylan Teeman, if he falls as a sleeper pick, I think he can definitely be here, but not a bad idea regardless. The Cowboys go Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. If the if the Cowboys somehow get Armace Thomas and Jacob Rodriguez, I would shit my pants. Because one, Armace Thomas is so bad, I shit myself. Jacob Rodriguez isn't a bad pick, so I'll shit myself. So I don't hate this pick. I think Jacob Rodriguez isn't the best athlete in the world, and he hasn't produced all that well in college until this year. But again, he had an amazing year. He's so good instinctively, really good at tackling. He's just a solid prospect. I really like him as my linebacker 3. Or maybe even linebacker 2. No, linebacker 3 because I'm kind of Arbor race. So Arbor race, Sonny Styles, Jacob Rodriguez is my 3 top linebackers. I love Jacob Rodriguez. I think people need to give him more first round buzz instead of that second round buzz. It makes a lot of sense for this team. I like it a lot. It just like fits this team well too. They need a linebacker. I think you maybe see if you can trade back. Again, I don't like the Armace Thomas pick at all. I don't think he's worth the top 15 pick at all. Like especially with how bad he does at the combine. Jacob Rodriguez is I'm a little more open to. Not a gigantic fan either. I think there's a little bit of a reach, even though how much I like him. But again, I don't hate it. Steelers take Emmanuel Pregnon, interior offensive lineman out of Oregon. It's not bad either. I like Emmanuel Pregnon. I think he's a top 32 player. I just don't think teams will take a chance on an older prospect who is produced at both collegiate areas he's gone to in USC and Oregon. But again, I don't think teams will take a big chance with this team that doesn't have an interior offensive lineman need. And I'd rather them go for this than Blake Miller and give up just completely on Broderick Jones when that pick isn't that great at all, because Blake Miller has a lot of problems. I know he's very battle tested and he's a pretty safe-ish pick. But again, I would rather you go for an interior offensive lineman here. So I'd rather you reach on Emmanuel Pregnon, who's an older prospect, but has had some good production wherever he's gone. It's not bad. He's really not bad. Malachi Lawrence, linebacker out of UCF, goes here. I know people are really high on Malachi Lawrence. I again watched his film yesterday. It's not a bad idea to take Malachi Lawrence here. I think he'll be awesome. He's really fast. He gets off his blocks really well. And again, he also has that Ruben Bain type factor where he doesn't give up on a play. He doesn't seem like he does. It can fit for this team. It really can. This team needs a linebacker, and they do run a 3-4, so they can use a linebacker like him in that area who can get to the quarterback as well. Be a good contrast to Khalil Mack. It fits schematically for this team. It really does fit schematically. I like the pick for them. There is some other needs they need, but I think Malachi Lawrence, you also need edge here. It's not a bad idea to take your instant production edge rusher. It was a real solid showcasing this year, and he also had a great combine. So I think you can maybe ride the high a little bit. I'm not a gigantic hater as some people would be. With the Eagles, they take Caden Proctor. It's not a bad idea either. Lane Johnson is gonna be gone really soon, and I think Caden Proctor would be a good replacement to him. Would be a real project because his technique isn't the most refined, and he's just like he's decently good at moving laterally. He's very, very strong. He has a gigantic frame. He'll be awesome whatever he plays for if you just develop him correctly, and that's a big if you develop him correctly. So there's issues there sometimes, but if you take Caden Proctor here, it's not a bad idea to continue to develop that offensive lineman. The Browns take Ty Simpson. I don't like it. I think this team needs a lot more than just Ty Simpson. They need they need a tackle here. I know they did get some tackle depth, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not. Are you sold on the guys that they have? No, but I would rather take Shador or Dylan Gabriel as a bridge quarterback than reach for Ty Simpson and wait for a better quarterback class. That's just my opinion. Ty Simpson's a reach as a first round quarterback. I think he's more of a second round quarterback. I'm not saying Ty Simpson is bad, but I'm saying for how he's produced, it kind of warrants the second round selection. I just think it makes a little more sense. I think his best fit for me is the Cardinals. I sit behind 100% and then eventually take over. I feel like with the Browns, he'll immediately start going in, and it'll be very interesting. But I don't know how well I'm confident in him going here. And then even if he gets a starting role, he might not produce, and he has big lapses in his accuracy and some of his decision making. So you're gonna have to refine that. Maybe you just use Shador as a bridge quarterback, but he's a second-year rookie. Like, you can't really use him there. He's not gonna learn much. So if we take Ty Simpson, he's not gonna be learning behind a veteran presence. He'll be learning behind Dylan Gabriel, who I've heard is an asshole, and Shador. No. The Bears take Peter Woods, defensive lineman out of Clemson. It makes a lot of sense too. I think he'll be awesome for this team. You can eventually develop him into that guy. You need that interior offensive line monster. Interior defensive line monster. He has had the production dip, but I think it's just, again, from game planning. It's not really his fault. I think it would be awesome for his team. Probably the best defensive tackle in this draft class. I like it a lot. It makes a lot of sense for his team, especially with some of their defensive tackle depth not being that great. So not a bad idea. The Bills take Cassius Howell. I'm not a gigantic fan of this either. I think Cassius Howell, for how short his arm like this, he's not going to go. He's been a fine prospect. He gets to the quarterback, either wins immediately or just gets mauled. That's the big problem. But if you want edge production, it's not bad. But I just would prefer something else. Maybe take a chance on him in the second round. But taking him in the first round is not my cup of tea, not my forte. For nice take modern feeling, this is an amazing pick. I like it a lot. I know they have him ranked as a 7th position ranking. I think for a pure tackle, I have him second, only behind Maui. No, it makes a lot of sense for this team. Maybe third behind Fano, but regardless, he's top 3. I think I like Freeling a lot. He plays that left tackle role. Trent Williams he's getting older and he's going to want to get paid, and you don't want to develop that and invest in that long term. So if we take modern feeling here, this team doesn't need a left tackle, so it makes a lot of sense for this team. I like the pick a lot. Texans go Florida senior Caleb Banks. With his foot broken, that makes it a little interesting how they go. They may bank on the upside, and they don't really need their talent a lot. But especially with signing Wyatt Teller, I don't think they're going to reach for a guard here. Chase Posada's is out of the question, in my opinion. So you take Caleb Banks here. It's not a bad idea, but again, it's just, I think you can get someone better like Caden McDonald or Christian Miller for a little less of the injury concern. It's just he always seems to get injured, and that's going to be a real issue. But it's not a bad idea to take the upside and the chance. The Chiefs go Adrian Terrell, corner out of Clemson. It's not a bad idea to take him a chance on this either. He has Adrian Terrell ranked really high. I think I have him as a ranked cornerback number 3. McDuffie will fit that McDuffie role. Terrell will fit that McDuffie role. It'll make a lot more, it'll make Spagnuolo have a little bit more help on the defensive side. It's not a bad idea to take him here. You need a corner too after losing Watson and McDuffie, so you might as well just try it and give it a shot. I think David Terrell will be a stud. He plays so well. He plays so good. You can blitz him off the edge too, and he has great hand placement. He jumps, cuts. He's very athletic. It's an awesome fit regardless. The Dolphins go Akeem Estador. I don't like this pick at all. I think this is an older prospect. They don't need he would be a nice addition to their defense if they were trying to win games. They're not. They're trying to build this team off. I think they either need to trade back or they need to take. Who do they take in the start? I can't even remember. But I don't like Akeem Estador. I would probably like more development. Mansour. I would rather take a wide receiver here. Who are you gonna throw to? Fucking Malik Washington, Tutu Atwell, No, that's not gonna happen. Jalen Tolbert, no, you're not gonna throw to those guys. You're gonna need wide receiver. Casey Conception, Denzel Boston is the best wide receivers on the board right now. Even Omar Kubi Jr. is on the board. I think Omar Kubi Jr. would be a sleeper pick for this team if he falls. Why don't you take those instead of reaching Akeem Estador? He's 25, and you're not even gonna be in playoff contention. That division is run by the Bills and the Patriots. Those two are gonna duke it out. Jets can maybe the Jets are looking a little bit better if they draft correctly. It's the Jets. I know, cross your fingers and hope to die, but Akeem Estador is more of a win now team pick. It would make more sense for the Patriots to take him because again they just went to the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll have the same level of success they did last year. But again, it's a kind of a win now move. Your team's already young enough that at the point where you can take a shot on someone like Akeem Estador. This team does not have the luxury of doing that. It makes no sense for them. They need to start building from youth. If you're taking an offensive guy or a defensive guy who's 25 with injury history in the past, I know it's at defensive interior, but at the same time, he still is injury prone. He does have that, and you have him ranked as a defensive lineman, not even an edge. So you're saying he's going to be that middle guy. That's how he got injured. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. So Akeem Estador is not a good idea. Patriots take TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson. I think I like TJ Parker here too. I think it makes a lot of sense for his team. You need an edge rusher. Not a bad idea. A really good solid pick. I like it a lot. He didn't play. Yeah, like you said, it didn't play as well as 2024, but again, there's a lot of upside. Same with Peter Woods, didn't play as good as he did, but there's a lot of upside. People start to realize that they're not that bad. Finally, the Seahawks take Dylan Thielen. After the loss of Kobe Bryant, it makes a lot of sense too. He has good turnover range. If Dylan Thielen somehow falls to the Seahawks, God, Lord, help us all. Jesus Christ, that'd be the next Legion Boom. Actually, it'll be scary. Even with Kobe Bryant, God, I would still say Dylan Thielen is honestly it'll be as good as retaining him. I love Dylan Thielen. Ran so great at the combine, had great testing. Watched his film recently. Awesome, real good turnover prone. He hits you and gets the ball out. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's an awesome pick, regardless of I like Dylan Thielen here. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in general. There were some really bad picks. There's some picks were made so many sense. Some picks just didn't. Our main being our Mason Thomas. I don't even know how the fuck you get him here. It just makes no sense. But we're gonna end it here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.